Welcome to the stage. The host for your Connecting Women to Power Work-Life Balance session, Real Talk about real issues with real people. Your host, Miss Yvonne Horton.
Thank you, ladies. Give yourselves applause. And gentlemen, that's right, let's get this correct. Thank you for reminding me. It's time for a little me time. When you came in, I think in your bags there's a mirror, and it has a My Time mirror. It says My Time on it. Does everyone have one? Yeah. You do? Okay, I need you to take it out. And I need you to open it up. Let me know when you're ready. Because it's time for a little me time right now. Okay, we have one. You have a person that doesn't have one, so we can make one available to her who does not. But we're going to move it though because we're stuck with a little bit of time. We only have a little bit of time. But if you don't have one, maybe you can take out your cell phone and take a picture of yourself, and you can look at it. That works too. So I encourage you to sit back and relax and join us through the journey through the human mind as I explore strategies, techniques, and actions that we can take to live a balanced life. Real talk about real issues with real people. When you came in today, you were given a Me Time mirror, so I want you, now that everybody has it open, to take a good look at that gorgeous woman who you are. Uniquely beautiful with a distinguishable blessing. And in memory of Maya Angelou, let me hear you say, I am a phenomenal woman. And it is my time. All right, can we hear that? My time? One more time, please. Okay, well, I'll take that too. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guests. Miss Gina Taylor, songwriter, vocalist, and universal gospel artist. Miss Fawn Weaver, author of Happy Wives Club. Miss Susan Bowerman, director of nutrition for Herbalife International, certified specialist in sports dietitian. Dr. Juanita L. Watts, regional coordinator for women's health at Kaiser Permanente. Miss Judy Trimble, co-founder, executive director, Bridges Community Economic Development Corporation. And let's welcome these ladies, and thank you so much for coming. Thank you. I can't wait to hear and get the advice and your thoughts. Ladies on the panel, do not hesitate to chime in on each other. And we're going to start with our first question with Gina. Your new album, Hallelujah Anyhow, has been an inspiration for many. And my favorite song is Bless the Lord at All Times. How do you balance your life, and what inspired you to sing this song? Or write the song, actually, I'm sorry.
Well, first of all, I'm very glad to be here today. And I love that this session starts off with real talk. Because for balancing my life, I can't. So I'm going to be real. I cannot balance my own life. But because I am connected to God and the Holy Spirit, I look to Him to help me balance my life. And if I don't have that connection with Him, I'm all over the place. My life is out of order. There's no balance for me. There's no peace for me. There's no joy for me. But when I stay connected to my faith in the Spirit of God, He gives me and He teaches me. He's the greatest teacher. How to prioritize my life, how to set boundaries, how to set my life in order on a daily basis. And like I said before, if I'm not with that connection, there's no balance.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you. And can you tell us the song? What inspired you to write "Bless the Lord at all times"?
Well, the song came from, I had a couple of sisters. One sister was the same age as, we were born the same year. And we were very close. Both of my sisters suffered with breast cancer. Both of them passed away at the age of 39. And that was a few years ago. And just trying to get through the day and cope with that is difficult when you lose a loved one that's very close to you. But I am a praiser and I'm a worshiper. And so those times that I was going through the darkest moments, I began to worship God. And he gave me that song. He reminded me of the scripture, I will bless the Lord at all times. And that means to me in the good and the bad. So that's how that song came about. I was inspired to write it through the tragedy of losing both of my sisters 4 years apart. And then also just family, marriage. So, you know, the song you would hear a little bit of that too. But knowing how to just worship God.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Fawn, you travel the world discussing relationships. Can you tell us the key to a successful relationship with our significant others, employers, and friends?
You know, I would say that there are, in traveling the world, there were actually 12 common denominators among marriages of what created successful and happy marriages. When you look at your employers, your relationship with your spouses, your family, the number one thing is going to be respect. Number one, mutual respect. So I really focus more so on relationships within marriage, and that mutual respect is incredibly important. But when I was a Hilton GM, that same respect that I show my husband and he shows me is the same respect that I gave every employee and they gave me. So with every relationship, I know for a lot of people, when we become the boss, all of a sudden, no one helped us to get there. And we become the boss, and then all of a sudden, no one else really matters. We kind of do our own thing. And for those here who are not the boss, you probably feel that. Here is a small tip. If you will show the respect to your boss, you will earn the right to pull them aside when they're wrong. And never feel bad about pulling your boss aside when they're wrong, as long as you do it with respect.
All right. And with that, I have a twofold. Can you share with us some techniques to balancing a happy marriage, job, and other relationships?
Oh, absolutely. The first is don't refer to it as work-life balance. When work is gone, when they decide to downsize, they have no issue downsizing. You're all of a sudden gone. So if you make that your priority, then your life part is what suffers. So it is life-work balance. And when you do things in that order, everything lines up. So when for just a quick tip, what I do at the beginning of every morning is I take a to-do list. Yeah. And I know all of us have a long to-do list. 5 things on your to-do list. 5 things that if you get those 5 things done, you will feel accomplished. And then everything else is a carryover. Just write it down.
I like it. And by the way, I just wanted to let you know that I joined the Happy Wives Club. Susan, this question is for you. What are some of the signs of stress? And are there some natural remedies to de-stress?
It's a great question because, of course, we all feel stressed much of the time. Again, trying to balance out our life and our work. And I think think one thing I just want to piggyback on something that was just said, which has to do with respect, because I think, when talking about respect for others, having respect for yourself and respect for your body is very, very important. And so as a dietitian, this is one of the things that I spend a lot of time talking with people about, because we stress out about so many things related to diet and to the way that we eat and to our bodies, and we criticize ourselves so much. And so one of the things I think in terms of just de-stressing and starting to think about this is, number one, be thankful for the body that you have, for all of the things that your body does for you every single day. And because of that, it's so important to take care of it. And unfortunately, I think that this is one of those areas that tends to fall by the wayside, and that gets us stressed out, and that's how the cycle kind of continues. Oh, I don't have time for exercise, I'm too busy, I have too much work, I have to take care of the family. I don't have time to prepare a healthy meal. And when you start to think about these things, they can start to stress you out more. So I think that part of it is really, in terms of de-stressing, it is making your health a priority, just as you would any other priority in your life, because you really can't perform well in the workplace, you can't really be the person you want to be at home with your family, and unless you really are taking very good care of yourself. So making time for yourself, making time to get some exercise, even if it's just a little bit. And we know that even small bursts of exercise throughout the day can not only help you to become more fit, but it's probably one of the best natural stress busters. Partly because, as you know, when you exercise, it does release certain chemicals that help your brain chemicals that help you to feel a little bit more relaxed. It also removes you from whatever situation you're currently in that could be stressing you out. So sometimes that 5-minute break can be very, very helpful. Diet is extremely important, however, because one of the things that people tend to do when they're stressed is to turn to things that maybe they shouldn't eat, right? Okay, we've all done that. I'm stressed out, I need some ice cream. I'm stressed out.
It's actually chocolate.
Or chocolate. We all have our specific foods that we turn to. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't do that from time to time. But if you see that that's a common thread, one of the first things I advise people to do is just stop, take a deep breath, take some time for yourself, ask yourself, what am I stressing out about, number one? And what's the worst thing that could happen? And the other thing that you ask yourself is, will eating this chocolate make me feel better? Yes, it might in the moment, right? But then what happens after it's all over with? Yeah, your stress level maybe isn't as reduced as much as you thought, and then you stress out because you ate chocolate, because you shouldn't have. So in terms of just natural things that people can do, I really encourage people to find alternative things rather than turning to food all of the time. I think it's very important. Exercise is important, eating well is important, getting enough sleep is important. It's a very holistic approach to stress reduction.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, please.
Because there's so many African Americans here, and African Americans and exercise, it's a thing with the hair. So I just want to just kind of jump.
Keeping it real, ladies.
I know you do. So here are the little tips, because I have to exercise, keep the stress levels down. There are exercises you can do that will not sweat you out. If you hop on a treadmill, don't run. Put that at an incline of 3.5. Listen, I have this. If you need help with no sweat exercises, come see me. But just put it up on an incline, and you will burn the same calories as if you were running. Do some push-ups. If you start sweating after that 6 push-up, sit down, and then go back to it. Go to the window, let the air come in, dry it off, and then go back and continue. But don't let your hair keep you from being healthy.
That's right. Come on, ladies. Keep definitely running. Okay. This next question is for Gina. Some time ago, you had a near-death experience. Tell us how that changed your life and how you view the gift of life today.
Okay. I can talk about stress and being busy. I think I could have been the poster child for pushing the envelope and just having a million things on the docket that had to be done. And about 25 months ago, I had an experience which is called an aorta dissection. And that meant that my aorta tore, and mine happened to tear from the top, the hook, all the way down the abdominal. And it's God's grace that I'm here. And it was an extremely an awesome experience for me and my family. My two daughters are here, and they went through that with me. In fact, my youngest daughter was getting ready to graduate from USC, and we were in preparation of all of that. And the week before her graduation, I was on an operating table, emergency operating table. But God's grace is sufficient. It's something that most people don't live through. 33% of the people die that have that within the first 24 hours. 50% within in the next 48 hours. 75% within 2 weeks. And when I went to my first doctor's follow-up appointment, he said, you know, I didn't expect to see you, my cardiologist. And he was just grinning from ear to ear. He says, we don't see people like you. We don't see them. They don't make it. Another thing that happens with an aorta dissection, I found out all of this because I didn't know what an aorta dissection was from anything else. In fact, they initially called it a AAA repair, abdominal aortic aneurysm, but mine was actually both thoracic and abdominal. And it was really an experience. He said, first of all, only 1 out of 1,000 doctors diagnose it correctly. And I had that experience too. Because when I went to the hospital, I actually put it on my to-do list. I put it on my to-do list because the pain started on a Saturday night on my back, and I said, okay, didn't sleep too good, but Sunday got a little better. Then Monday still bothered me. Tuesday I started having jaw pain. Then when I started having jaw pain, I said, oh, I think that's heart, you know. So I'm going to put it on my to-do list. I couldn't go Wednesday. Do we minimize ourselves, ladies? Okay. We minimize what's happening to us because if we figure if it's not childbirth, we can handle it. You know? So I said, Thursday I can go, I'll run into ER and have them rule out I'm not having a heart attack, and then I'll go to the meeting that I have to go to this evening. Okay? And that didn't make that meeting or any other meeting for the next year or two. But to say we do too much and get out of balance is a minimized statement. Because as women, we just minimize what's happening to us. And I also would be one of those who would self-diagnose. But you're looking at me, and that means my assignment's not over, and I'm here, and I'm here all the time. And I have learned a lot out of that experience. It has changed my life completely. I was forced to change. You know, we talk about, oh, I can't stop doing this, I can't. Oh, yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can. You can stop. We can either voluntarily stop, or you will mandatorily be stopped. And I was doing everything we do. And when I came out of the hospital about a month later, sitting in intensive care, laying in intensive care, cardiac intensive care, and all of that good stuff, I could not walk, talk, and breathe at the same time. I couldn't do all three at the same time. I had to choose. They told me I could not talk on the telephone any more than 15 minutes a day, totally, for the whole day. And it was because I didn't have enough air, you know. But God is so good. He says, oh, you're going to make it. You're going to come through this. You're going to come through this. And as women, we have to understand we have a purpose. And our purpose is a lot greater than just us. And so it's changed my attitude about how I see myself, changed how I eat. I don't live to eat. I eat to live. I look at what's in food. I look at the sodium. I look at the cholesterol. I look at the fats, you know. I do exercise when I can because as a result of an aorta dissection, other things can happen to your body. Like right now, I only have one kidney, and that I lost one last year because sometimes the vascular systems don't work as well as they're supposed to. But I'm here, and if I had to lose one or something, at least I had two kidneys, you know? Right. So, I mean, I have changed tremendously about how I deal with stress because the two restrictions that I had coming out of this was to manage my stress. The doctor said, you have to manage your stress and don't drink and don't have any caffeine. Those are two things. And women, we don't think caffeine is a problem. But caffeine is a problem for women, okay? You just take that as a little note. But stress and handling stress and stressful situations I have taken it to a whole nother level. Not just breathing. You know how we get into stressful situations? Yeah, that's good. But actually dealing with your mind. Dealing with your mind. To bring every thought into captivity, the Bible says. And I mean, you have to bring every thought because your thoughts can make your blood pressure go up. Isn't there nothing going on around you, but your blood pressure is 161 over 90,000. You know? And you're not doing anything but sitting there thinking and wondering why. But one of the things that I have found that as women, we don't realize that cardiovascular events are the number one killers among women. The number one killer among women in all the world and in the United States. We tend to think that it's breast cancer, but it's not. It's 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 women will die from a cardiac vascular event, you know, and 1 in 8 of breast cancer. But it's important for us to take hold to what we can do. And I find that the thing that I have changed in my life is I encourage young people. I'm still young, but I encourage young people to really take advantage of what you have. You can walk. Stop sitting up something about, I can't exercise. You know, go somewhere and walk. I mean, if you get a pedometer, if you don't think you're walking, put a pedometer on, you realize how many steps you're taking in a day. You know, walking is the best exercise you can do. I do walk when I get a chance. I'm trying to eat right and do the things that I can do. And that's one of the things that I find that is the perspective that I've taken. Do what I can do. And we have to take hold to what we can do, you know, and stop putting it on, oh, this happened to me. Why did it happen to you? And I have a friend that said, you know, things don't just happen all of a sudden, most times. Now I did ask about this aorta dissection. What happened? How did I do this? You know? And they said, well, we can't say exactly what caused it. It's not a common disease in this country. It's not considered common in this country. And I'm in an elite group, a very small group of people, and being a survivor, but it's not something that happens all the time. But they said hypertension can lead to this, but everybody with hypertension doesn't have an aorta dissection. So stress and family history, but what we know and what I found out, I have to do what I can do. I have to do what's good for me. And that means dealing with stress and putting it out of my life.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much. So ladies, I know I am always busy doing so many different things. And it's funny because when I get home from work, I start my second job and I start, you know, washing because I have a ton of clothes and picking up stuff and washing dishes. And I have a dishwasher. That's funny, huh? I don't hardly ever use it. It's funny because you ask for stuff and then you don't use it. And I figure, oh, it's just a few dishes. Let me just knock it out. I don't need to waste all that water. And but then I let the water run. Wow. Okay, so go figure. But I really enjoy this conversation that we're having because I can't say a victim because I victimize myself, but I keep myself so busy. I gotta go do this, gotta do that, and I want to rush to get it done. And I'm realizing that it's okay. It's okay if I don't get it done. It's okay if I take 5 things off the list, and even if I don't get all 5 done, if I get 3 done. The thing is I have to learn how to delegate, and we're going to talk more about that. But I just wanted to let you ladies know, let's start to de-stress. It's not that serious. Our lives are more important. It's more important for me to see you here next year, and the next year, and the next year. It's more important for me to see you here than it is to wash your dishes. So the next question is for Dr. Watts. How does, since we're talking about stress affect our love life? And what can we do to stay in harmony with our mates, the job, and ourselves?
That's a complicated question, isn't it? I was thinking more heart response, okay? But you know what? I think what we've got to push for with women is a comprehensive, integrated approach to our lives, okay? You're looking at a miracle on the stage. You know, a miracle on the stage. You are the pivot in a wheel with a personal relationship, with your children, with your employer, with your community. And stress affects all of that. When you stress, there ain't gonna be no love life. Right. You can't. And you know, it's an interesting topic because we're moving into a time period we are seeing more emphasis and more information and more specialists that talk about women's sexuality. Before it was like, shh, we didn't talk about it. And we know that men have the little blue pill. And women don't have a little blue pill.
Well, they do now.
They do now. It's still being tested, though. Don't try it. Don't be the first one to raise your hand. Wait a year. Okay? I'm not even prescribing anything like that. Just wait a year. You know, but it is very important that you look at those components that help all of you. Judy, you talked about that we can do better. It's not we can do better. We must do better. We must do better. Now, I'm all for call to action to give you something that you can walk away with here. Have you ever had a conversation with your friend and you were trying to get their attention and you said, psst? Can everybody say psst? Oh, no, a little bit louder. Can you say psst? Okay, not pee in it, just psst. Real quick and short, okay? Psst. All right. Now, PST, for me what that means is prevention, screening, and treatment. Prevention, screening, and treatment. So you have an opportunity to, with all aspects of your life, including your health. It's time for women, I think, to pay attention to your body, to pay attention to your mind, to pay attention to your spirit, and integrate that. Because when you're able to do that, then you're talking about total health, total wellness. These are some magnificent tips that we've already had in this conversation. My goal is to help educate women about health issues. And the more you are educated about it, the more preventive you can be. Like you admitted, you just didn't even know what any of that was that you had to experience. But you gotta know what makes you feel good. And not just in your love life, but in your health. And in your mentality and how you treat yourself. But you gotta recognize when you don't feel well. And women are notorious to say, oh, I'm just a little bit tired. Oh, I'll get around to it. Oh, it wasn't that serious. And I am amazed at how much we fail to recognize symptoms and then delay them. So look at that mirror that you got in that bag. I wish I had one. I'm going to pretend like I got one right here. Because you have to take care of yourself, and when you ignore when you get signs. It's kind of like before you even have signs, you got to understand what your risk factors are. So we've got to do a better job of educating and getting that information out. We've got to do a better job of doing preventive strategies. Prevention, I'm a believer in prevention because I see what it does. So those important healthcare preventive screening tests, your mammogram, your pap smear, your DEXA to look at the density in your bones, getting the pressures measured in your eyes, getting your teeth checked. These are prevention strategies that you can incorporate into your life. And when you feel good and you understand your body, you will know what it's like to feel well. Whether that is in relationships, whether that's with your children, whether that's with your job. But if you don't put your health as a priority, we are not going to make it. You are absolutely correct. Heart disease is the leading cause of death and disability for women. And you survive. Some people, they survive, but then they've lost half of the strength of their body and they can't talk and they cannot remain independent. So there's an opportunity. One other thing I want to leave you with, did all of you walk in here with a purse? Everybody brought a purse. Can you hold up your purse? Let me see. Everybody walked in here in your purse? Okay, everybody walked in here with a purse and with a bag. And as you talk about heart disease and what you can do a couple of things. But in every woman's purse should be aspirin. Do you know why? Because if you have a friend or a female that is having pain, if you can give them an aspirin is very inexpensive. And it should be part of that arsenal in all of our bags. Right next to your car keys, your lip gloss, your wallet, your credit card, aspirin. And here's another thing that you talked about. If you do have heart pain, if you have chest pain, don't call Pookie. Don't call your neighbor.
Oh, Ray Ray. No.
Oh, don't call Ray Ray. Don't call Ray Ray. Don't go take a bath in the shower, put your makeup on. Don't do any of that. The first 3-step survival plan for women for heart disease is you call 911. When you call 911, if you're at home, you unlock the front door. Otherwise, they're going to crash through your front door. So unlock the front door. The second thing that you need to do is you take an aspirin, okay? The third, and it's important because you want 911 to pick you up. Don't drive yourself to the emergency room. Do not drive yourself to the emergency room. Do not allow your family member to drive you to the emergency room. Because when 911 responds, you've got an ambulance, you've got oxygen, you've got treatment that begins at the point of pickup that could save your life. Number 2, women are so hungry. They will get to the emergency room. How are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. Okay. And, and why are you here today? Oh, I'm having a little bit of chest pain and sometimes in my neck. And, oh, I see that you're busy. Oh, no problem. No, that's not how you go to the emergency room with that. You need to speak up and you need to holler. Hello, I'm having a heart attack. You get attention because those brief minutes and seconds can make a difference and save your life. That is not the time to be humble. It is not, or patiently wait. So it is very important. And heart disease does not stop until you begin to take action. It occurs over a lifetime. We've got studies where we can look at cholesterol levels in children as young as 5 and 6 years old that have eaten at McDonald's 7 times a week, and they already have plaque formation in their vessels. And you don't feel it. You do not feel it. And unfortunately, with high blood pressure, with heart disease, by the time you feel it, you may be in the event. So we've got to be more proactive. These suggestions of better diet, exercising, not sweating through your hair will improve and save your life. It really is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. I have a joint question for all the ladies, so whoever wants to chime in on this will be great. How do we delegate work and get comfortable with the inabilities and the imperfections of others to live up to our personal standards? I heard that. Come on now. How do we do that? Because for me, I want to do everything myself because I think that's how it's going to get done right. But I'm learning that I'm tired, stressed, and I do that at work too. I'm like, oh, they can do this, but I have to do this. They can't touch this because if it gets messed up, we're in trouble. But That's not fair, because they can do it. They can do it. And so I have to learn how to let people help me. That's the problem. And I'm guilty of it, and I don't mind telling you, this is real talk, ladies. How many of you are out there that are like that? Ooh, I'm glad I'm not alone. All right, thanks for being honest, ladies. So,
I would want to, I think I have a response to that, and it goes back to something you said initially. This idea that we all have that, this whole superwoman thing, I have to work, and I have to take care of my family, and I have to put perfect meals on the table, and I have to exercise, and I have to look great, my hair has to look good all the time. All of these things that we think we need to do, and it is sometimes very hard to let go. And I think what you said about, so what if the dishes don't get done? It's really not the end of the world. And I will tell you that even somebody with a background like mine in food, it's like, so what if we had peanut butter sandwiches for dinner once in a while? We just did, and macaroni out of the box. Because there were those nights where I was too tired, I didn't have anything in the freezer, and I can tell you, be prepared, make sure you have everything in the house. It's easy to put a healthy meal on the table every night. It happened to me too. And I wasn't apologetic about it. And I think part of it is, again, when we talk about respecting ourselves and saying, okay, it's okay. I think the hard part that we have as females is asking for that help, or, as you say, I have the same problem you do, is letting other people do it. Oh, they're not going to do it as well as I can do it, or they're not going to do it as quickly as I can do it. Well, so what?
Right.
You're getting help, and that's what you need.
And I think for me, and I really respect it, I think for me, especially when my children were young, I have twins, I had to decide, because, I want a perfectly clean house, and I want meals on the table, and I want to make all their activities. But for me, I came to a point of understanding, of figuring out what could I give up?
Yes.
What could I give up? Okay? What could I give up and maintain, making sure that my family had everything that they needed? So the first thing that I gave up was housework. So I'm talking about housework. I have a housekeeper, all right? He came every Friday morning at 6 a.m. He started at one door. I had all the pals. He would do 8 loads of laundry. He mopped, he cleaned and did everything. Now you heard her, she said he was also a handyman. All deliveries happened when Robert was there on Friday. And my favorite day of the week was Friday night. I would come home, the house was sparkling. I would go and take a bath and sit in crystals. But I realized just not having to do laundry and having the house clean made me more available, made me more calm for my family and for my children.
And it takes the stress off.
It does take the stress off. But you can give up.
Yeah.
Right now, as we speak,
That's right.
doing laundry.
Is your husband?
My housekeeper.
Oh, your housekeeper.
It's
Okay.
Fridays are, but again, this is not something that is necessarily affordable for everyone.
That's true.
And
That's very true.
understanding that there are things that you can give up that are still affordable. For instance, I have a prep cook named TJ, and Trader Joe's is awesome. You don't have to cook the meals. I mean, literally, you have your prep cook, your sous chef, whatever, pop it in the oven, and it's okay. There's something that I'll piggyback off of that you said, is we have to get to a place where 2 things. One, we are okay with the undone. We make peace with the undone. Everything does not have to happen every single day. Once you make peace with the undone, then you become friends with the word no.
Oh, we're going to talk about no.
Then I'll skip that. Then I will skip that. And then the other thing is, for how many here are married or in a relationship that you've been in for a while, significant, living with you? Or you guys are living together? Okay, awesome. Don't delegate in a relationship, but share the load. Share the load. For us, we feel the need to take on everything, and we don't have to. My husband is an EVP over at Sony. And when he hosts events, which he does a lot, when he hosts events, they know Keith's going to work half the room, Fawn is going to work the other half of the room. That is how he's able to make those things work. When I was releasing my first book, I said, I want this to debut at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. My publisher thought I was crazy. My husband did not. The publisher talked to him as much as they talked to me. So figuring out, what do we want to do? What do I want out of life? And how can I team up with my partner to make it happen? Do not try to go at it alone. It's like you're doing a relay race and you want to run the whole thing. Let them run the other half. It's okay. You both win. You both can get to the finish line.
And on your jobs also, if you're not teaching and sharing what you know, you're not being effective. If you're not multiplying yourself, then you're not being effective. You need to let somebody learn what you learn, what you know, so that they can grow, and then you move to the next level. So, but if you're hoarding, nobody can do this but me, and I'm the only one that can do this, then you're going to stay right there hoarding your little piece. But if you will allow other people to grow, give them, delegate. Yes, they're going to make mistakes, but you're there to teach, to mentor. Not just to do your job, but to show somebody else how to do that job so you can get the next one.
Go girl. Go girl. Gina, what do you think about that?
Well, I think I agree with Judith here about training. It's very important to train people. They will make mistakes, but if they're making consistent mistakes, there's a problem. Right. So I think that training them, because for myself, I can never be comfortable with mediocrity. I'm looking for people to go to that next level of perfection. So it's delegating and training and trusting people and making sure that they're not being consistent in making mistakes or errors.
Wow.
And just one other thing I want to add to that, and I think women are a tremendous support for each other. You know, some of the greatest lessons that I have personally gotten have been from women with a lot of experience. And in terms of building that team, that network, that support, you know what? You catch more bees with honey. And when you can be positive, it encourages people. And when you can add a little bit of encouragement, we have a tremendous opportunity to support and learn from each other.
All right, wow. That's definitely informative. Ladies, I have another group question, and that would be, what piece of hard-won advice would you share with someone about managing their insecurities? Now, come on, ladies, we all have them. Let's just be real. Whatever they are, they can range from 1 to 10 or 1 to 100. But we all have them or have had them in our life. So, who wants to start with that question? I think, go ahead.
I will pop in because I'm now inching toward 40, but when I was 20, I was in the hospital, not the way you were in the hospital. I was in the hospital because I tried to commit suicide for the second time. Insecurities are all about what is inside of you, what you believe about yourself. I tell this to people that are actually going after a larger career than they think they are worthy of having. Allow someone else to write your bio. Allow someone else to write your resume. Allow someone else to write down what they see in you. And then read it and believe it. Because it's never what's going on externally. It's never what people think of you. It's always what you think about yourself. So when it comes to insecurities, when I think back at 19, I'm like, what was I thinking? Everyone around me would tell me, you're so great, you're so powerful, you're so this, you're so that.
And she's so beautiful, isn't she? Just adorable.
But it is real, and our greatest demon is ourselves. Our greatest hindrance is ourselves. So if you can get to a place where the people that are around you, you just listen to what they have to say about you, that is positive. And if you've got a bunch of negative no's, get rid of them. They're of no use to you. But literally, surround yourself with people that are positive and who see the good in you, and then believe that.
Right. And I want to piggyback on what you're saying, because I know as a healthcare provider, I see women who are afraid. I see fear. I know what that looks like. I know what that looks like. I know when I recall a case that I had of a woman who came in and she was very covered up, and when I entered the room, it had a very distinct odor to her, and she, was there with her husband, and she was very quiet, and so I went in to take a history about what brought you in, and she says, well, I think I have a lump in my breast. I thought, okay. So took a little bit more history and then went to examine her. However, when I went to examine her, I opened the gown. And the mass that she had was fungating and growing out and necrotic and breaking down, which means that she had had that for so long. And I was stunned. And I asked her, how long has this been here? It's been there for several months, actually. And her fear, she feared she had breast cancer. And her fear stopped her from coming in. So don't be stopped by your fear. And it was breast cancer, and it was metastatic, and unfortunately, within 4 weeks, she did succumb from it. But I've seen what it's like when you're so scared that you are frozen. Don't get scared. Don't get scared. There are symptoms that you absolutely cannot ignore. And if you can't do it, then somebody around you needs to do it. And I was marveled because she did come in with her husband. And she had become so fearful that she wouldn't undress in front of them, and he could smell it, and he finally was able to get her to come in and came in with her. But fear will kill you. You will die. So when you talk about insecurities, don't do that. If you could do that, don't do that with your health. When you have signs and there are things that you absolutely cannot ignore. You start to lose weight too fast, you think, oh, this is good. That's not good. You can have cancer. You can have someone say diabetes. You know what I'm saying? You said, I feel real bloated. I think it's those beans I ate. You could be ovarian cancer. You need to come in and get screened. When you're bleeding in between periods, that's not normal. And when you have blood that comes out from someplace that it shouldn't, from the wrong place, from your urine and your rectum and your cough and your sputum, that's a problem. Come in, but don't let fear stop you.
All right. Judy, this is a good one for all of you. All of you can chime in, but I'm going to direct it to Judy. How could us ladies handle the situation where our children are not contributing to the household, but constantly making withdrawals? Close the bank. No.
That's regarding adult children?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Not the babies, okay. One of the things we have to do with our children is look at them individually, and we need to look at what we've done, okay? We have to own what we've done. Okay, we raised them, we allowed them to sit in some of those positions, but as they, and in our culture today, adolescence has extended its duration. Adolescence used to end like 22, 25, now it's going into 30, 35, it's almost hitting 40. People are still in adolescence because adolescence has some developmental marks that say you've completed it when you are economically independent, independent of your parents. But also in our country, we've seen some serious changes economically where it's been really hard on young people because of the downturn of the economic system and some of the other things. So it's taken them longer to get out of adolescence. But at the same time, we have to put some boundaries in place. We have to put some accountability in place with our children, holding them accountable, sitting down and discussing what a budget is and what it means to live beyond your means. And that my middle name is not money and my last name is not bank. You know, that they have to understand that they are going to be responsible for their own well-being. That meaning economically also. And making sure of putting them in the place with the skills they need to go forward. Not just saying, oh, you get out my house, and you know you're going to be on the street because he doesn't have any skills. We have to make sure that they have the skills and help them to be accountable, hold them accountable. Sit down, okay, what did you do with your check this week? If you're living in my house, I need to know what's going on, You know, if in fact the young person's living there, you might want to set up a budget where he's giving you or they're giving you a certain amount of money, even if you're putting it in the bank for them, But making them accountable, whereas they know that, oh, mom and dad are just going to take care of me for the rest of my life. No, mom and dad are not going to do that. So we have to put some things in place that help them to know that they're accountable and that they can stand on their own. We're talking about insecurities. Our children have insecurities too. Yeah. And this generation tend to feel like they're not doing as well. And I can't do this and I can't do that, but I can do it if mommy and daddy supply this because I'm still with mommy and daddy, But they have to know you're wonderful. You can do this. You can stand on your own 2 feet. You have everything you need inside of you to be the best you can be. Be the best you can be. I'm not asking you to be somebody else, but I know what's inside of you. As a parent, you can say that. I know what's in you. I know what you got that you can use and go forward. And with the skills that I'm helping you to teach, and now mind you, they're going through adolescence, even if they're 30 sometimes. Okay? And they don't like being told some things. So we have to be creative and wise in how we mentor our own children, even if it means bringing some other people in.
Yeah. And that's a good point. I have fraternal twins, a boy and a girl, and I think what we've also got to do is that we've got to give them some opportunity to create and fail. And when they fail, you got to be able to give the support and follow the money. That's no joke. Follow the money, because the money will lead you to where the problem is. I know my son's not here, but when he was in college at Morehouse, and I'm looking at this credit card, figuring out, what's the package house? His fraternity must be doing community service work and sending packages to Jamaica and books and all of that. I mean, I had no idea, but then this credit card kept going up to about, almost $3,000. So, and then he wasn't returning my calls and the whole thing, and I thought, I'm not feeling this. I took a red eye and flew to Atlanta to Morehouse College. I took a red eye and flew to Morehouse College. I had called his professors. I said, I'd like to come in, and it's a surprise. It's a surprise. Oh, she said, well, come and hide in my office, and he always comes here, and he usually sits here. Morehouse is a wonderful college. And so we went to the class, and I brought her a nice bag of all this women's health information, was right with the class. And so the class started, and I looked, and he wasn't there, and it was fascinating. It was a wonderful class. And then at the break, I went out and stepped outside, and I called him. And he picked up, and he said, Mom, I'm in class. I said, what class are you in? He said, I'm in Dr. So-and-so's class. Is that the one in room 1, 2, 3, 4, the one that I'm sitting in right now? Like total shock. And then I said, now I'm not going to be rude and leave this class, but I'm going to meet you right at the steps. When this class is over, you need to be at those steps and meet me. And then I made sure I stood public enough that all of his friends that knew me, Dr. Watts, how are you? Jabari didn't say you were coming. Oh, no. I'm waiting for him right now. And as they're walking off, they were texting, your mama's here. Your mama is here. Your mama is here. And when he did present himself, the first thing that I did was hug him. I hugged him so tight, and then I asked for his wallet. He gave me the wallet, and I took the American Express card. So we got to support him, but we got to give him more rope. We were probably more independent growing up. And they're going to fail, and failure just means it just gets you closer to developing a life skill. But you gotta support them, and you gotta make them know that they are supported and they are loved, but you gotta call them. So some of y'all might need to take some red eyes too.
So now we're going to move forward just a little bit. I want to share with you some of the things that I've learned from this session today, and that is one, a prayer a day keeps the devil away. Sometimes you have to accept imperfections of others in order to achieve your own perfection. The smaller your world, the easier it is to rock. Sometimes you have to broaden your circle and let people in. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. We a little territorial. Oh, no, we can't hang with them. Oh, no, let her stay over there. We'll deal with her on Friday. We got to stop that. It pays when your world is being rocked by reality. And no is a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. And we got to stop feeling guilty when we can't do something and want to push ourselves to do it. Well, ladies, we've come to a part where we're at the end, but we have a little treat for you, so please stay still. First, we want to talk about, we have over 100 giveaways, including 8 passes to Burke Williams, 2 passes to Terenia Resort, 6 rain bath from Neutrogena, 25 autographed books from Fawn and for them to purchase. No, okay, that's okay, but we'll make available so that they can do that. 25 Hallelujah Anyhow by Miss Gina Taylor, and 20 of another personal favorite of How to Master Life's Test by Veronica. But first, a special treat. Gina has agreed to sing a song from her senior year. Welcome, Gina. Thank you so much.
Sometimes it's hard for me to make it through a day. The memories of losing you bring me so much hurt and pain. When all the time I knew we'd be together for the rest of our lives. But you had to go away, and I'll never understand why. But I will bless the Lord at all times. His grace shall continually be in my mouth. I will bless the Lord at all times. At all times. I look forward to the day, saying I do, with that white picket fence, living happily ever after too. But every now and then, that storm rages against my happy home. Instead of feeling close together, I feel so alone. But I will bless the Lord. His praise shall continue be in my mouth. I will bless the Lord at all times. At all times. I thought the storm was over, and here it is again. God knows all wasn't well with my sister, my friend. And I really don't know how much more my broken heart can bear. But one thing I'm sure of, and Him I cast all my care, and I will bless the Lord. because he knows how to heal me and comfort my soul. He knows how to pick me up and he knows how to make me whole. This is what I do. This is how I make it through. Yes, and I will, because he's been so good to me. Forever I will praise him. I'll give him praise, I'll give him praise, and bless the Lord at all times.
Thank you so much, Gina. We're at the end. Thank you so much for coming. I am so excited. I want to leave with you ladies. Sometimes we forget to do things, and that's acceptable. However, what is not acceptable is when we forget about ourselves and how precious life is. Don't do it. Don't do it. As we close the session out, let me leave you with a few words. Let me encourage you to love the life that you live and live the life that you love. And don't take for one moment the people that we love for granted as we're passing through this journey called life. God bless you all.